Greeting, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Double Standard, the series where I showcase the ridiculous standard across the media. So I know that it's been a while, and my apologies about that, but I had to share this information with you that I've just decided to gather to give you guys something that you're going to be quite interested in. Now I'm going to upload this both on YouTube and BitChute in the likelihood that YouTube deems this as unfit to be uploaded or flags this or whatever age restricted. You know how it is. Now, I'm not going to cover what happened in its entirety because it's already been done, but instead I just wanted to talk about how vicious the media is, as well as these woke influencers on social media that go on about prejudice while showcasing their true colors. Now, let's go ahead and view these headlines. So we all know what happened at Colorado, considering that the media is slurping this story up like flies on cow manure, but what you likely didn't read is just how truly prejudiced some of these people are being. See, the thing about social media and the internet in general is that the moment that you say something, it's there. Now, you may delete it, but trust and believe that someone has likely made a backup to keep that on record should they ever need to pull that up against you. As seen with this tweet from Harris's niece, I believe. The Atlanta shooting was not even a week ago. Violent white men are the greatest terrorist threat to our country. See how these people operate? Do you see how they honestly conduct themselves? Without the facts, without even really giving this the time of day, they immediately jump to the conclusion that one group of people were the only ones capable of committing such an atrocity. Now, I'll give this person the benefit of the doubt, and I don't really know too much about her and whatnot, but as more info was released, she realized that she had no choice but to delete her tweet and apologize, if you can call it that. Now, look at the second tweet. Now, how interesting is this? Like, can you even call this an apology? You can detect the condescending tone in her choice of words, and worse still, what I'm really looking at among this is pretty much the amount of likes that people are giving these kinds of tweets and whatnot. You know, just how many people are brainwashed, self-righteous people buying into this garbage that they're the ones that are, like, you know, holier than thou, and we need to look to this role model of a woman, you know, in relation to fighting prejudice. Look at how she's fighting prejudice while being prejudiced herself, pretty much, you know. You know, they're simply being a part of the actual group that is perpetuating the very, air quotes, prejudice and racism that they are claiming to fight. Now, keep in mind, again, that this woman is an advocate supporter, and like I said, I don't know too much about her. You know, I didn't even know that Harris had a cousin, or I think it's a niece again, you know, but I don't know too much about her, but she's an avid supporter of BLM, so that just goes to show you, again, what kind of people are involved in BLM and what kind of group BLM is made up of. Now, it gets better, you see, or should I say worse, depending on how you see it, but considering that I'm trying to showcase as much information about hypocrisy as there is, it's kind of better for me and whatnot. Bam! There it is. Look at that. That's right, those poor little BLM supporters finally getting the freedom that they deserve by having the charges dropped. I hope that you can detect my sarcasm for those who are unaware. Now, we know what went down at these air-quote protests and whatnot, and the sheer idea that a judge has dismissed not one, not two, not even 10, but 39 cases against BLM supporters, you know, who had some pretty bad charges like assaulting officers. You know, it just shows how deep this woke crap runs. You know, these supporters talk on and on about equality and fighting bigotry and racism and prejudice and whatnot, when in actuality, all they really want is supremacy and whatnot. They just use equality as the guise to get it. And just like all Marxist revolutions, where the people were deceived, they learned a lesson far, far too late that apparently some people are apparently, again, more equal than others and whatnot. And, you know, just like last year, the companies are hopping on this bandwagon. You know, I opened YouTube, you know, going to my channel to, you know, just get some stuff done. And I see this crap right here. You see? I see this. Just like with BLM, they're jumping on the idea that this was a prejudice attack and we must stand in solidarity against blah, blah, blah racism, blah, blah, blah white males, blah, 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 blah. It's such garbage, you know? And the funny thing is, the very definition of prejudice reads as follows: an irrational attitude of hostility directed at an individual, a group, a race, or their supposed characteristics. And that's clearly what's happening to a group of people that the media is scapegoating and blaming all their problems on, i.e., you know, white males, as you saw with Miss Harris's tweet. You know, I don't see race, okay? I really do not see race. As far as I'm concerned, you're either a human being or you're not. You know, like, you want to sit around and call yourself this, that, and another. Oh, well, I'm this race, I'm that race, but I'm also human. Like, let's just cut the crap, okay? I don't care about the amount of melanin in your skin. I don't care about how your features look. At the end of the day, you're a human being. Accept that or just don't accept that, considering that apparently, you know, in today's day and age, you can identify as whatever you want, since we got people out here honestly believing that they are everything except biologically a wolf. So I'd hate to offend someone. And, you know, the few people that agree with that kind of statement and that kind of mentality that I share with, you know, as I will play in this very popular clip. But before I play that, look at what YouTube thinks of people who think like me and who think like Morgan Freeman, for example. Fact checks, air quotes. You know, for what is not a slander, for what is literally just one man giving his opinion, you know, it just shows how cannibalistic this movement really is and whatnot, considering that they're always talking about, oh, it's always these people, it's always white males, blah, 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 blah. But when you have someone who's on their quote-unquote side of the spectrum, who they believe is supposed to be standing with them, and they show that they are not woke and whatnot, you'll get chewed up and spit out just like everyone else. That's how YouTube shows you. That's why they're quote-unquote fact-checking this. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and play this popular clip, shall we?
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
And I couldn't hit the nail better myself if I tried. You see, we can only get rid, air quotes, get rid, of prejudice by seeing each other as human beings. But the fact of the matter is people always move on to the next thing because we are flawed. That's just how it is at the end of the day. You know, right now it's air quotes race and whatnot. But the next thing you know, it's going to be something else. It's going to be how someone looks and whatnot. So that's just how it is. You know, but if they truly wanted to address prejudice, then more people, instead of being with BLM and standing with all these kinds of woke groups, they'd stand against them because they'd realize that they're the ones pushing this crap to begin with, jumping to the conclusions that it's always one group more than another group. They'd understand that that's the true prejudice, and they're the ones who are causing this crap. You know, you need to start looking into things for yourself, people. You cannot just trust something merely because it's from the news or the media or some group that you like. Everyone today, unfortunately, is trying to push some sort of narrative. And excuse me, it's actually not necessarily a bad thing if you're pushing a narrative. It's just what do you want the narrative to be? You know, there are some narratives that are honestly good and whatnot. If you're encouraging, you know, anti-prejudice on a true scale, like me, for example, and you're standing against BLM and all these people, Antifa, yeah, you know, I don't necessarily mind pushing that narrative. So the question isn't necessarily, you know, not wanting to push a narrative. It's what do you want that narrative to be? So with that being said, that's pretty much going to conclude this episode. I hope that you all enjoyed. And if you like what I'm doing, please feel free to subscribe to support the channel. I'm going to get back to work to showing you the double standards and the ludicrous things going on. I'd like to thank you all for watching. God bless, and I'll see you next time.